What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stimulus update. We have a bunch of stuff we want to go over today, specifically the unemployment rate. We got new reports out of that this morning. We also heard from Nancy Pelosi as well, and we've seen some other reports come out about stimulus talk. So let's break that all down as to what we know right now. First, the United States reported this morning that the unemployment rate for November dropped. Some media reports said it fell. Well, yes, it came down. It went from 6.9% in October down to 6.7% in November. So when all these media outlets are saying it fell, it dropped, it plummeted, it came down 0.2%. Not a lot. So it is dropping, which is good. But here's the bad thing. We saw 245,000 jobs come back. This is the slowest growth we have seen. And this is what economists have been warning people about. This is what economists warned Congress about. The slow jobs growth, is going to be a very bad thing for the economy. Okay? And this is one of the reasons why there's a bigger demand for higher stimulus, a more comprehensive stimulus package at this point in order to prop the economy back up. Right now, stimulus and vaccinations are the two things that they say are going to get the United States back to where we once were. Without those two things, we are going to struggle. Yes, without stimulus, we will not be able to add more jobs. Many jobs, millions of jobs just completely went away. They're gone, and they pretty much vanished off the face of this earth. They're not coming back in that same sense. So this is one of the reasons why economists are saying there's more of a need for a stimulus now than back in April. We need it now. Also, after the numbers came out this morning, multiple reports have experts saying that this just further solidifies the need for a comprehensive stimulus package. They're saying $908 billion just won't be enough. We will at least need $2 trillion over the next 4 to 6 months in order to see the economy get back to where we once were at. The United States, as we know it, will not be the same if we do not see more stimulus. It needs to almost double in order to get there. A few economists are now predicting that with the slow growth and the way we've been kind of progressing, we will be in this recession until possibly 2024. Again, this means there's more of a need for additional stimulus right now. But, as we know, Congress just wants to pass a $908 billion stimulus package that doesn't include a lot of stuff that we do need. You know what one of them is. Not going to say it yet, but you know what it is. The good thing is that we did hear from Nancy Pelosi this morning. I said this earlier this morning, is that we need to hear from Nancy Pelosi, because Nancy Pelosi is one of the main people, and right now the only people we should really be listening to, because these are our leaders, these are people that actually matter, is Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, that's on the Democrat side, and then we got Mitch McConnell and President Trump. Those are the 4 people we need to be listening to. What Joe Biden says, it matters in a way because that's what Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are going to do, but what he says really doesn't matter. What Steve Mnuchin says, it matters in a way because he's pretty much the negotiator, but really does it matter? No, it comes down to Mitch McConnell and President Trump. So those are the people we need to hear from. If anybody else talks, that's all it is. It's just talk. We need somebody that can actually provide action, and that comes down to those 4 people: Pelosi, Schumer, McConnell, and Trump. Those 4 people. So what did Nancy Pelosi have to say this morning? First, Nancy Pelosi stated that Congress has to get a deal done and that nobody should be allowed to go home until after a deal is passed. So this means December 11th is technically the deadline. Okay, that's technically the deadline. December 11th is the deadline for this stimulus package to pass. However, that's not a definitive deadline, because they can still push it back if they need to. Okay? So just understand this is a very important deadline, but that doesn't mean it's the final days to pass stimulus. They could still have some time. Remember, the House is expected to leave Washington on December 11th. The Senate is expected to leave Washington, or at least according to their schedule, is December 18th. So we do have a little bit of time right now. And this is good news that she is saying this, because right now, Congress needs to they need to pass the government funding bill. They need to get this agreed upon. And she also referenced this as well. She stated that attaching the stimulus package to the government funding bill is the current plan. That's what's on the table. And her specific words are, and I quote, "That would be a hope, because that is the vehicle leaving the station. We would want a big, strong vote." And what she's pretty much saying by this is, by attaching the two bills together, you'll get more people on board. But as of right now, reports are indicating that these are the changes that Nancy Pelosi wants to make. Okay? Remember, I talked about this yesterday. I talked about all this yesterday, saying how Nancy Pelosi wanted to add stimulus checks. That was one of the things that was in there, that, again, according to the report. She wanted to add stimulus checks, $600 per week in unemployment. She wanted more money for education, and she also wanted to add more state and local government funding. Those are the key things as of yesterday. As of this morning, what she actually wants, okay, what she referenced, again, this is what she referenced from her interview this morning. She said that what she wants is, we need more state and local government funding to help with vaccinations, because that is very important. Everything changed when the UK approved the Pfizer vaccine. That's when everything changed. And so for Nancy Pelosi, she's saying things are coming a little bit quicker than we anticipated. I believe, again, just according to the reports, I believe what Nancy Pelosi was hoping for, even though this sounds bad, is she was hoping for a vaccine to come out and for the FDA to approve a vaccine after January. Because if it happens, or after January 5th, because if it happens before that, then President Trump and Republicans have a little bit of a win going into the Georgia Senate runoff. But Nancy Pelosi, she wants more money for state and local governments to help with vaccinations, because not only do they have to worry about, shipping the vaccines and storing the vaccines, they also have to figure out how they're going to, or where are they going to vaccinate people. At hospitals, are they going to set up stations throughout some major cities? What are they going to do? And right now, that's one of the big issues, is how much money is this going to cost? Because right now, New York, Governor Cuomo, he's stating that New York State needs about $8 billion to set up this whole thing. Well, right now, all that's being added for state and local government funding is actually $160 billion. That's in the $908 billion stimulus proposal, that emergency relief framework. And that's what's currently being negotiated and talked about as the front runner for stimulus. But what we know is Nancy Pelosi does want more state and local government funding, because as of right now, if she gets $160 billion, when I say she, this is what she's been fighting for this entire time. And honestly, she pretty much lost a lot of leverage because of the vaccine, how the economy has kind of been slowly getting back on track. And so that's one of the hard things happening right now. But what the reports are saying is that if Nancy Pelosi agrees to $160 billion, the majority of that money, if not all of that money, will go right to the states to provide for vaccinations, to provide the funding for the vaccines. That's it. And states could even lose money, even with an additional $160 billion, put into them. So right now, what she's saying is there's going to be no money to provide any of the COVID losses that they saw over the past 7 months, 8 months, whatever it is, right? So that's one of the things that Nancy Pelosi wants. The other thing, she wants more unemployment benefits. She does not want to accept the $300 per week for 4 months. And that would go from December 1st all the way to March. So we got December, January, February, and March. 4 months. That's all we'd have. Now, here's the thing. Right now, what's currently being discussed, I guess, based on reports, is that Nancy Pelosi would like to take retroactive pay from December 1st all the way back to November 1st. So give an additional 1 month. And Republicans, as of right now, they don't look like they will support this unless they take off 1 month from the back end. So yes, we could go retroactive from November 1st, but then it would only go to February. And as far as increasing it from $300 per week to $600, it's not looking likely unless we take off another month. Again, Nancy Pelosi wants more benefits, and she wants it to go longer. Republicans are on the fence about this, and some are saying that they don't want the budget, they don't want the amount to change. So if we go higher to, let's say, $400 per week, we've got to take off a month on the back end. And so this could actually shorten up the entire stimulus package, shorten up the unemployment benefits by possibly 1 to 2 months. And right now, what many economists are predicting is that we are going to see more people laid off come January. January and February are going to be crucial months. So if we take away unemployment from either one of those months or even past that, that could really put the economy back into a tailspin. So that's not what they want to do. Also, regarding stimulus checks, here's what we know. Nancy Pelosi is not mentioning stimulus checks. Mitch Mcconnell is not mentioning stimulus checks. President Trump is not mentioning stimulus checks. Here's the reason why. As the reports state, and again, I mentioned this morning, I mentioned this yesterday as well, reports are stating that right now, if we add in stimulus checks, it makes it too expensive for Republicans, for the majority of Republicans, to back this bill, which then means if we take it to a vote, it would most likely not pass the Senate. If they include an additional roughly $300 billion for stimulus checks. They would like stimulus checks. They know it's needed, but they're also stating right now that, yes, President Trump would sign if there were stimulus checks, but he would never see the bill if it doesn't pass through the Senate. It would pass through the House, no problem. The Senate, you need 60 votes. You need 60 votes. There are currently 47, there will be 47 votes that say yes for stimulus checks and a stimulus package at $1.2 trillion. But 47 yeses, then let's say you throw in another 10 yeses for Republicans, that puts us about 57, so we're still about 3 votes short. And that's the reason why they're sticking to that roughly $900 to $1 trillion budget. So we'll see what happens there, but what is being reported is that most likely what's going to happen is both parties are going to wait on stimulus checks until January 5th, till we get an answer from the Georgia Senate runoff, and then they'll determine whether stimulus checks should be included into the next stimulus package, which most likely would not pass until after January 20th. So that's what we know right now, but things could change. Things changing every single time, every single hour, there's new development. So I'll keep you informed on that. Also, the goal right now amongst Congress seems to be, let's just negotiate the omnibus bill between now and early next week. Then let's get an agreement on that. And then after it's agreed upon and it's ready to go, it's ready to pass, before we pass it, then we will attach the stimulus package to it. And the reason for this is because reports indicate this is one way to get more support from both sides. Is if there's more things that are relying on a yes, more people are going to look at the entire package as opposed to just the individual pieces and be like, okay, I don't agree there, but we really need this. Okay, yes. I vote yes. Let's get this done. So this sounds like a good plan. This sounds like it will work. But then again, everything right now sounds great, but nothing really matters until it's passed through the House and the Senate and President Trump signs it. That's all that matters. So right now, it's all just talks. Another good thing is that Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi spoke on the phone yesterday. They spoke for a little bit, and here's what Nancy Pelosi had to say about that. She said, there is momentum. There is momentum with the action that the senators and House members in the bipartisan way have taken. The tone of our conversations is one that is indicative of the decision to get the job done. Now, although there is momentum and things are looking up for stimulus, they're not looking great for Nancy Pelosi. Right now, many Democrats within the House are saying that Nancy Pelosi made a huge miscalculation right before the election when she turned down the $1.88 trillion stimulus package. They say she should have accepted this. Even Ro Khanna said Nancy Pelosi should accept $1.88 trillion. There will never be another stimulus package like this. And he was 100% right. So, Nancy Pelosi addressed this morning. She said that was not a mistake. Her exact quote was, "That was not a mistake. It was a decision. Winning the presidency and getting a vaccine changed things. That is a total game changer. A new president and a vaccine." And due to Nancy Pelosi's miscalculation, here's what is happening. Americans were left without stimulus for months. Stimulus checks could be out until at least January. Larger state and local government funding is gone. Rental assistance was almost cut in half. Education assistance dropped significantly. And Nancy Pelosi still thinks she did the right thing by the American people. Somebody's misguided. Honestly, all of Congress right now is completely messed up. Completely messed up. They need to get their acts together. They need to get together soon before this entire economy just crumbles. We're going to see what happens, but right now, stimulus is on its way. We're looking like we will most likely have a deal later next week. We're going to get more updates, more answers, and we will see exactly what's going on. But my hope right now is that Nancy Pelosi won't try to demand too much, and her and Mitch McConnell will come to an agreement. So that's what we know right now. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll share more. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on all things stimulus, and I'll see you guys on the next one.